Hello and welcome to Yeshiva League Pass podcast tip-off show, episode number 10. I'm Ari Wickus, joined by the one and only Oren Glickman. We have a great show ahead of you. It's the championship preview. We have our player of the week, co-players of the week. This is a big man show. We got Joe Aaron from DRS and Eyal Kinderlehrer from TABC. It's going to be a fabulous show. We're going to get right into it, preview the game, talk to them first about what they just accomplished, what they're looking forward to, and ultimately cutting down the nets. Before we do that, let's start with our sponsors for the show. This is our 10th episode, and we have been with us all the time. Holy Schnitzel, Gotta Get a Bagel, and joining us for the home stretch is Camp Seneca Lake. Holy Schnitzel, I've been talking about it. I've been eating it all throughout these months that we've discussed it. The greatest grub you can get, meat. They have salads, they have steaks, they have chicken, they have appetizers, they have it all. It's a great place. Get it on Uber Eats, get it in one of the many locations in the tri-state area, and obviously in the 5 towns, their signature location. And then you have Gotta Get a Bagel, who is all your bagels and appetizing needs: sushi, salads, fish, muffins, cakes, cookies, you name it, coffee, they have it, appetizing for hours, and they will do brisses, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, family simchas. They are caterers, and they do a great job. And then Camp Seneca Lake, located in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. Last week when I was talking on the show, I said, I think they're in Seneca Lake, New York, and I knew it sounded wrong. So it's Camp Seneca Lake. They have not moved. They're in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, under the guidance of the Ross Zuckerman, the camp director. A great, great place. Get your sports in, your dancing, your swimming, all the activities you want in the summer program. Camp Seneca Lake has it, and you can check them out on their website. So without further ado, Oren, let's get our 2 player of the weeks here: Joe Aaron from DRS and Eyal Kinderlehrer from TABC. Ooh,
right.
they actually,
Same time. Wow, like magic.
I was gonna say whoever popped up first is probably gonna win the game, and they both came on at the exact same time. So there you go.
All right, so it's going to overtime.
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly. That's a very big possibility. So before we start, we're going to get into it, guys. Congratulations to both of you. I know this is a big moment for you guys. You are back to competing for a championship, which, throughout your careers, I know you've had tremendous opportunities, from middle school up until now. And you're right where you want to be. When you started the season, we knew that TABC, DRS were 2 of the top 3-4 teams. If there was going to be someone on Championship Sunday, you 2 guys would probably be representing your teams. I want to start just by getting into it. Obviously, Joe, we're not even 24 hours past your game winner, which was incredible. Everyone in that gym, and there were people in that gym, I don't even think they fit. I heard there was over 600 plus fans. I was watching it online. It looked incredible. Mag and David, they had that game, came in as a heavy underdog. You had beaten them 4, 5, 6 times. I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of different numbers, but you took care of them. But you knew the heart of a champion that Mag and David has. They're going to come in. You guys had to be prepared. So just to fast forward to the end of the game, after they tie it up, you get the ball. No one in the gym expected anyone but you to take that shot. Tell me about the moment, what you were looking for. I know Bennett came over to set a pick, and then I don't really know what happened. It looked like you went through about 4 defenders and no one touched you, and you had an open layup. But take us through that moment and that big shot at the end.
Yeah, that was a big moment. It was just crazy. I mean, there was a ton of people there, so it was just like crazy the whole time. Everyone, the energy, everything was just like unbelievable. So like it just like was bringing it down, and then like everything just like clicked. Like I called the play before, so like I kind of knew it was gonna happen. I kind of like dropped the play, and I just said like we're doing this, and then like I just anticipated it right, and I made the right move, and that was it.
Were you so surprised? And I know you did the Euro step to kind of get, so the kid who was underneath the basket could avoid the charge. But were you surprised at how open you were, or you just
honestly, I thought they were gonna foul me once I like started driving, because like that's like the Megan type, just to like foul or like try and take a charge. Like he tried taking a charge, but it was like further down. So I thought he would try and do something different, but I was a little surprised how I got super open. But
yeah, I mean, especially watching in the live stream, the only thing that would have made it even better is if you would have dunked it. But I mean, I know in a moment like that,
I was thinking after the game if I just like dunked it on his
right, that could have replaced the Gabe Lifer fresh playoff dunk with the crossover. Yeah. But yeah, it was a tremendous play. And hey, y'all, let's get into you with TABC. TABC DRS. This is in my recollection. First, I don't think have you played each other this year?
Yeah, we played in Memphis.
once in Memphis, where I think who was victorious?
Lost by one.
Okay. You lost by one. That means Joe won by one. Okay. So this is the first time in Oren, you can help me also in the history of Yeshiva League that you guys are facing off in a championship basketball varsity game. I know TABC has never won a varsity championship. DRS has one, but now you're back where you are 2 years after you won the JV championship. Tell me about the season you guys have had, and ultimately you knew you guys were destined to be here. And how did you be able to navigate the season and get to where you rightfully feel like you belong?
Yeah, so we've had a great season so far as a team. I mean, Memphis, we played solid, we lost, so that took us back a little bit. We came with a lot of momentum. And then we got back, we played a few games, won, and then we lost SAR, which took us back a little bit even more. And then from that moment on, I think it was mostly uphill. We beat SAR again by plus more than 10, and we were feeling it. We were having a great season. Things were starting to click. Then we had a bad loss to Frisch. That was we kind of let Stebner cook us a little bit, but whatever, we got through that one. And then playoffs, we came off hot. Yona started heating up. Borgen last game had a great game. We've been playing really well together as a team. I think everything's starting to click a little bit later in the season, but thank God we've been doing really well so far. Borgen, I want to shout out Borgen, had a great game last game. What a guy.
Yeah, both teams, and this is in championship teams always have it. Last year it was Shabbat and Sher. There's always, you need junior contributions. Or you can't, even though the senior grades, you both have really strong senior grades, but you said Borgen and Faber, and I know for DRS, Spodek, Solomon, Bennett, you're getting a lot of minutes from other guys. Oren, I have tons of questions, but I want to let you jump in there and go ahead next.
Yeah, so Joe, take us back to last night. I think Magan David had a possession with the game tied, and there was 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Shabbat put up a prayer, and I think he fell short. And then I think one of your teammates had called timeout, but you didn't really want them to call timeout. Was that still going to be the same play that you guys were going to run regardless?
No, not at all. I mean, like the timeout wasn't like meant to be. It was just more of like I don't know, he just did it. Like it didn't like change the fact of anything. If anything, it probably worked out for the better of us.
Right.
But I just thought since like no timeout, we would have had like the advantage of pushing or having a little momentum. But the timeout, it didn't affect us at all. It just set us up, and then we had to run, and honestly, it worked out for the better.
Right. And Eyal, comparing this year's team to the JV team that won 2 years ago, that team was fairly different. I don't think Borgen and Faber saw the court quite a lot. Did you guys really?
Neither of them played real minutes at all.
Right. Did you guys have real optimism though that they could really contribute to this varsity team this season going in?
I mean, yeah, both of them have worked really hard. We know Faber. I mean, me and you know because you're the AD, but Faber works insanely hard. We all know his trainer. He works the whole summer. We all knew he was going to get a lot better, and he did. It shows in the court. And then Borgen just looked scarier this year. Last year, he also amazing. When he was in 9th grade, he wasn't really as much of a threat. Maybe that's because he didn't get so much time, or I don't know. But this year, he's really he's a pretty big threat, and he got a lot better. So I mean, it's really a whole different team than we were in 10th grade because we few juniors playing, different style, a whole different team, honestly.
Yeah, I think you find that a lot of times, Jake. Just because you win JV championship in 2 years, you fast forward 2 years, it takes a lot to get back there. Your team is different. The competition is different. Kids get bigger, stronger. It's a whole totally different look. I want to talk about Joe, and this is a question for both of you, and you both had different opportunities. So Joe and Oren had harped on this earlier in the season. You guys won Tier 2 in the Sarachek tournament last year. I know it wasn't Tier 1. You won in the play-in, and then you kind of went through the gauntlet of opponents, and you were ultimately able to win. So you have that experience playing in front of a big crowd, because even though it's Tier 2, it's the same crowd pretty much as Tier 1 because everyone's in there to get to watch the game. So I want you to talk to me about that, having played there last year in that big, with the crowds, the gym. What do you take from that, and what have you learned? And, what can you do better in this chance next Sunday?
I think playing in YU just a great experience with the whole atmosphere and how many people are going to be there this Sunday. And the gym's going to be packed. I think both crowds from both schools are just unbelievable. So I think that's just going to be something that's going to be really fun to play with, and just to just be there with. It's going to be an unbelievable time.
Yeah, and actually, and it's I've said this before. I think we said it last week. DRS and TABC, I think they have the best fan bases. Who the kids who come out to the games, regular season, playoffs, obviously big moments. But this gym, I mean, God bless the YU bleachers. I think they're going to have to get some reinforcements to keep all those guys from going up and down. But yeah, it's going to be great. And then Eyal. So 2 years ago, and I know you played in Sarachek, but you played in the JV championship. Also, big crowd. What do you take from that experience, and where a game where you guys came from behind and you ultimately, put your team on your back and led them to victory? What do you take from that now getting another opportunity years later?
I mean, yeah, I think it was really cool. I mean, when we were in 10th grade and playing the ship game, those like, I don't know, 2 minute sprint where like you want to have like 8 points in a row.
35 seconds. I heard it was
35 seconds.
Right?
Yeah, I'll probably haunt you now. So that was probably the loudest I've ever heard a gym my whole life. And that really, I mean, it definitely helps. It's really cool when you play with a lot of people and you play with a lot of people in attendance. I mean, last year in Sarachek, we played against Yeshiva on a Friday. That was a ton of people. I don't know. I really enjoy it. I think it's pretty cool when everyone's watching and just puts more pressure. But I think our team tends to do better with pressure, and I think it's a good environment. It creates a good atmosphere.
Right. It's you both teams as well. So tell us about Eyal. You said, what's the relationship with you and Joe? I mean, obviously you guys have been competitors for a while. Have you gone to camp together? Have you been on the same teams? What's the relationship besides both being great ball players?
Yeah, I mean, so we go back. We played on, Ari Halbert, Rafi Albert's basketball team. He has like an AAU team in the spring, so we've been playing with that together. We've been friends for like most of high school, let alone ballers, friends also. Yeah, the AAU team. I'm trying to think, Joe, help me out. What else have we played on together?
We went to Hustle and Hard together.
Got the hustle on our together.
We'll be playing again this upcoming spring.
We will be playing. We're doing it, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I bet.
Wait, do you guys guard each other? So, I mean, you don't have to give us defensive assignments. Right? Joe's like, no, I don't want to deal with him down.
One time in the All-Star game last
All-Star
year,
game.
but we never really guard each other.
Different positions.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let me ask you a question, Joe. If you had to guard Eyal, what's the one thing you're trying to do to take him away from getting his baskets?
Make him shoot.
All right, Eyal, you're going to give me the same thing. You're guarding Joe. It's a couple seconds left. What are you going to do to make him uncomfortable? Where's the spot you're trying to get him to go to?
I think.
Oh, yeah, he can't guard me.
By the way, I can shoot. I have more threes in my career.
I can attest to
that. If you let me shoot, it's over. But I think maybe like give him a little bit of room, like a handout. Like if he tries to shoot it, like I'll block it, hopefully. But like also enough room so that if he tries to make a move, I'll get in front. But like just like defense, I don't know what else. I'm not really sure what else.
All right. Well, here, if there was a 2-on-2 game, Eyal, your father, and we'll throw your grandfather in against Joe and his dad, who wins that game? It's a 3-on-2.
The 3-on-2?
Yeah, I'm throwing your grandfather in that game.
I mean, no diss to my father. Joe's father's probably a lot better than I don't know.
Give me my
yeah, I was gonna pick the Aarons in that game.
I love my dad. Just like I don't.
Yeah, but your grandfather has this competitiveness. I don't know. He made his will that team.
Hopefully, it translates onto the court. I'm not sure. But yeah,
that would be a good game. Oren, what do you have for that?
So Joe, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this DRS's first championship game since Gabe Leifer?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So, how would you compare your squad to that squad? You think you guys could go toe to toe with that squad?
I'm not sure. That squad was quite something else. They have a lot more height. We might have more skill than them, but that team was just next level of height and like a combination of everything. So I mean, like it'd be fun to see what we could do against them. But
yeah, that was a big team. I think their starting front court was like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". Yeah, so that was that was a big squad.
Yeah. Eyal, TABC has had success at the JV level, and the viewers probably don't know, TABC they punched their ticket into a championship game before. That was Zevi Samet's junior year. They punched their ticket into the finals the night before the COVID lockdown officially began. So once the ball tips, you'll be making school history by playing in TABC's first ever varsity championship game. What does that mean to you and the school in particular?
I mean, it's definitely really, really cool. You know, playing JV ship is definitely very cool, but there's nothing like varsity. So that's gonna be really fun. And I mean, my last Yeshiva League game besides for Sarachek ever. So besides for that, it's just gonna be like emotional moment. It'll be very fun, hopefully. And also shout out to Noam. Noam was also part of that team. They had the ship, but they just didn't get to play it. That's tough. Probably would have won that, whatever. But yeah, no, it's very cool. I'm very excited. There'll be nothing like
Wait,
it.
Eyal, you know what you can do? You can wear Noam's jersey under your jersey. I mean, maybe you have some family.
Vicariously. Yeah.
You may have a little something like that. But let me ask a question. Oren just brought it. And I know Joe's got to go. He's got a DRS, another championship game to go to and watch. And you have practice, and we have selection Sunday for Sarachek. So let's say you both win the championship, right? You obviously you can't. You both win the championship. You head to Sarachek. What means more? Sarachek championship. I'm going to start with you,
It's
Eyal.
a no-brainer.
Sarachek championship or
Yeshiva
Yeshiva?
League. I don't care what anyone says. Sarachek's really cool, but it's 3 days. You work the whole league. It wouldn't make sense to say Sarachek.
Right. Well, Joe, hopefully it doesn't make no sense to you as well, or
I think they're both really cool, but I think Yeshiva League, you're just like working a lot harder for something, as they all said. I think it's just a bigger accomplishment, and I think Sarachek's just something that you could just top it off with.
right. I'm in agreement with you both. I think something you set your sights on when the season begins is working with your team starting in August, September, whenever you start practice. You're through March, and you're trying to get that ultimate championship. So before we go, I'm not going to ask you guys to give me your top 5 squads or anything, but we'll start with you, Joe. Any shout outs to you? Your career, as a Yeshiva League high schooler is coming to an end soon. Anyone you want to shout out before you
I
go?
want to I want to shout out like pretty much the whole greenhouse. I mean, like it was so fun to play in front of them. I mean, they were just an unbelievable squad. Like just to like be part of that and to experience all that, it was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Eyal, who do you have? Anything to
Let me start out with the best AD, Oren Glickman, scheduling everything, doing everything. Definitely a big shout out there. We all appreciate that. My parents, I guess. And then for the team, just Hanan Schultz. No one else besides for him. Probably just him. And then for the pit, Bill Auer. If you guys know Jonathan Bill Auer, he led the pit this year probably. Him, Yonatan Hastock. Those guys, I'm forgetting someone. My bad, but they also I think we go toe to toe with the greenhouse like a little bit, like hopefully. Like I'm not really so sure, but like
Wait, is there going to be like
Come on.
you know what you should
like
do when
we don't have as much kids. Like, it's not. I don't know. It's not possible.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Honestly, we just aren't as good. I don't know.
Well, listen, you have a week. You guys are each going to be practicing a couple times a week. You tell your respective crowds they need to get in the gym also, get their shtick. It's Adar. You guys rule in Adar.
We'll be ready. We'll be ready.
Yeah, Shushan Purim, I think, right? Am I right?
I think we're gonna up our game. I think we're gonna up our game on Sunday.
We'll do it.
We'll be good.
Listen, guys,
Confetti
congrats.
cannons.
Right. It's going to be a wild atmosphere. I'm excited to be there. Oren will be as well. Guys, congrats on a wonderful season. Again,
Thank you.
the best part of it all is that you see the Achdus, you guys are friends, foes, but at the end of the day, we're all rooting for each other's success, and we wish you both the best of luck for the rest of your seasons.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, Oren. This is a special shout out to the AD. I mean,
I know. I wish he didn't do that. I wish he didn't do
right.
that.
No, this is great. By the way, I just want to say it looks like we're both rocking the same hoodie, but I'm wearing the Yeshiva League Pass exclusive Nike hoodie.
I'm wearing the Memphis Invitational.
All right, there you go. So if you're an AD, you get free gear. That's obviously the goal. We don't have any attire that says anything else but Yeshiva basketball, Yeshiva volleyball, or some hockey or some other sport. But wow, this is it's going to be a great game, and it's just fitting to have those two guys on. Like you said, when we reached out to them, you just had a feeling they probably had a relationship as friends, and it's going to be a great game. And now let's break down the game. Before we break down the game, we'll just quickly talk about the two games that just happened. So obviously you were there. We'll start with TABC North Shore. I think that kind of happened how we said it would. They ended up winning by 10 to 11, 9 to 11 points. I think we said it would be about 13 or so. Again, the key thing with TABC is they're starting off a little slow with the scoring, and then their defense really takes over. What did you see being at that game, and how ultimately TABC was able to come out with victory?
Yeah, well, the second quarter woes didn't happen this time as opposed to last time. They got outscored by Flatbush 16-2 in the second quarter, and This time in the second quarter against North Shore, they actually outscored them by 1. So they were up 1 at the end of the first, and then they went up 2 into the halftime locker room. The juniors outplayed the seniors. Eyal had a pretty quiet night. It was really Borgen and Yonatan Faber that paced the offense. Faber has become a defensive specialist, and Eyal was
Faber is 41, right? He's number 41.
Yeah, and Eyal was in quite a lot of foul trouble. But against a team like North Shore that's not particularly big, you're able to afford sitting Eyal. But against DRS, you can certainly not get away with that. It looks like Coach Oz is going to be ride and die with a 6-man rotation, and we'll see if he can get away with it against a DRS team.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was. It seemed like TBC took care of business, and then on the other side you had Mag and David versus DRS. I mean, we both were like, it's a double digit. I think I said the spread was about 9 points. I think that's what I said. Mag was underdogs by 9 points, and I keep saying it, but it's just the heart of those kids from Magan and the coaching staff. I mean, the whole school. They just were like, they don't come into any game thinking they're the underdog. They're going into Sarachek thinking they're going to win Sarachek. They're just the way they're built, the way their coaches have them ready, and the confidence they have from within, from their community, and from all the hard work that those guys put in throughout the season and in the off season. But it was a great game. I don't think either team was up by more than maybe 5-6 points throughout most of the game. It was mostly a 2-possession game, and DRS was always in front. And when you have games like that, as I always tell my teams, I go, once you get over that hump and take that lead, they're gonna be really pressing. And Magan did coming up. They went up, I think, 57-56 or something at one point. They went up by
they were
1
up
point.
1 late in the fourth.
Right, 1 point. Then on the other side, Bennett got fouled with under a minute left. He missed the first. They hit the second foul shot, and then it came down with. I love that Shabbat took that shot. It may not have been the greatest shot, but you got to live and die with Shabbat shooting that shot. I mean, it was, all his shots are always like, whoa, what are you doing? Oh, great shot, because he's just a shot maker. But what did you see in that possession when Josh had the ball in his hands in the game on the line?
I don't think I would have replayed it any differently. You want the ball in his hands at that point in the game. And, sometimes they go in and sometimes they don't. If I'm Megan David, I'm beating myself up more over the free throws.
Yeah, they uncharacteristically missed a bunch of. Phil Scher missed a couple. Who's generally a knockdown foul shooter. I know that is something they're probably going to look back at, and have some something that can tangibly hold on to and say, we would have hit a couple of those. We're not in that position, but
it's a tough way to go out, but they'll have to find a way to try to keep the motivation going as they head into a playing game against Flatbush, where there's always Brooklyn pride on the line.
Right, absolutely. And then, as we said with Joe, and by the way, congrats to Joe for being our first time ever 2-time player of the week. I mean, he started off our season and he ended our season, pretty much with this player of the game. But yeah, that again, I just love seeing the superstars have their ball in the hands. Let them go to work. You want to be the one who takes the big shots, and that's what Joe did. He just made a move, and it just ultimately, again, I wasn't there live, but watching it on the live stream, I was just like, I don't know how he got so open, but I think it's his shiftiness, his how elusive he is getting to the basket. And then, obviously Magan had a prayer half-court 3-point shot that didn't go in, but it was a great game. And here we are, Shushan Purim. It's going to be the battle of the first time ever DRS taking on TABC in a championship game. I know they've played each other in playoff games, but never in a championship game. It's going to be an unbelievable scene. I mean, YU probably couldn't be happier. I mean, between the two schools, they probably have, over 50% of their admissions go to YU. So that's, I'm making up these numbers, but I'm probably somewhat accurate.
In terms of property being protected, they're not happy.
Right, exactly. I'm sure there's going to be Commissioner Gordon and everyone else will be telling us, make sure that you don't stomp on the things. But obviously, sometimes your emotion as a 15 to 18-year-old kind of overcomes everything. But it's going to be great, and I just love the crowds, the shtick they all have. They're gonna be working at it all week. But let's get to the game. So as I forgot, and I wasn't positive, but they did play during Memphis, and Eyal said DRS was victorious by 1 point.
Yeah.
So first of all, tell me
that game without Spodek.
Oh, okay. And DRS won the game without Spodek, who's really come on late in the season as a real scorer, which has usually been a facilitator. So tell me about that first game. What did you see? Obviously, that was 4 months ago or so, 5 months ago. What did you see that something that we should be looking out for on this Sunday coming up?
Yeah, I don't think TABC did such a good job neutralizing Joe Aaron, and at the same time, DRS did. I think that was the best defensive masterclass I saw in Eyal. Granted, it was November, but Eyal had a very frustrating night, and I think that was due to the great job of Michael Solomon.
Yeah, because Michael does not have the height, but he's got the heart.
He's got the heart, and he could be a real pest down low. So listen, I think the shot clock will benefit TABC in this regard. In Memphis, the game was played without a shot clock, so TABC was playing from behind, and it was always going to be a challenge for them coming back against a DRS team like that with no shot clock. I am so happy that I do not have to make a prediction on this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're lucky. I have to make a prediction. I don't even have one finalized in my head yet, but I'm obviously going to give one. But I think this game is going to be, and I don't really remember that game in Memphis. I don't know if I even saw it online. I probably did. But these are two great teams. I'm just so happy they're both here because it's a game probably most people wanted to see.
Yeah, I saw Coach Moko today actually in the 510s, and he had made a comment to me that I don't know if you recall, but when I saw you in Memphis, I told you this would be the championship game.
Oh wow, there we go. It's making predictions back in November. And also, by the way, neither of these teams have lost in over 3 months. I looked at they both lost in early December. The Stepner game by 2 points and the SAR DRS game by 1 point. I actually made it both been 1 or 2 points, whatever. So both of these guys have been have been on the trajectory of just up, and up. But let's break it down. Let's see. You got TABC, as you said, the rotation is very short, which I think you have in championship games anyway. I think DRS rotation is maybe going to go 2 guys on the bench, right? They'll have the shooter,
Saknovitz and Bennett.
And Bennett, right? Those are going to be the guys who come. You're going to have 2 guys. Foul trouble, you got to be careful with because neither of these teams are really playing deep into their bench. TABC, has the 6 guys that are going to pretty much play. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think for TABC to win, it has to be low scoring. Yeah. If it gets up into the high 50s, 60s, that's a recipe for DRS. I think they score a little quicker in transition, and I think TABC kind of more manufactures their possessions a little stronger. But the key is, like we said, it's not just Eyal against Joe because really they don't guard each other, as you said, and most of the time your superstar player you don't want on your other superstar to avoid foul trouble and all. But I think this game is going to be great, and I think again it's going to come down to the secondary players. Is it going to be the shooter number 15, Sake? How do you say it?
Saknovitz, who actually was scoreless last night against Magan David.
Yeah, by the way, and he only took maybe 2 or 3 attempts. I don't think he took a lot, but I think it's going to be guys like that.
Saknovitz, Faber.
Yeah, Faber, Borgen. I think those guys. I think Kaiser and Mandel. Look, Mandel's a big game player. It's such a great match. You got Mandel, Saidi, like 2 shifty guards who could just on their own teams be the top player in the team, let alone Batman and Robin with their other big guys Joe and Eyal. But Saidi probably was a little quiet in that semifinal game against Magan, but we know him and Mandel will probably match up against each other. And I think I would probably say whoever of those 2 guys who scores more, their team will probably win. I'm going to give a prediction. Again, I don't even have it formulated in my head. I think if we go into a spread, I think DRS comes in as a 1-point favorite, maybe a pick 'em. I mean, it's that good a game. I think ultimately DRS is gonna take this game. And I think if you ask me 10 times, I give you 10 different reasons who would win. But I just think DRS wins by 2-3 points. I think it's close throughout. And as we made a joke at the beginning about overtime, I don't think that would be any shock. Last year's championship game went to overtime. These games usually live up to the billing when the teams are evenly matched. Even so, it may not be a 50-60 game. Even if it's in the 40-30s, it's going to be a great game because it's going to be intense. I think DRS, ultimately wins it on a late bucket, by 1 or 2 points. You don't want to give a prediction, but is there anything else that we need to, key factors? And obviously, you got the great coaching of Oz. Moko for DRS, and Moko had that big game experience winning the Tier 2 championship last year. And Oz is, he trains people for the NBA, so big game for him is nothing. But any other
No, I agree with you. I think all the attention will be on the two guys that we interviewed. Everyone's going to talk about the Aaron Kinderlehrer dynamic, but I agree with you. That's really less about them and more about the players surrounding them.
Yeah, I think it really is, and that's what championship games are. It's funny because a lot of times, like when Andre Iguodala won the MVP, right? Steph Curry is great, but when you have that contribution from a guy who maybe steps above what he's accustomed to, it really elevates that team. So I think it's going to be a fabulous game. March 16th, Shushan Purim. It's going to be, hopefully everyone is rested from their Purim Seders, Sudas, and they're ready to go on Sunday. I know both these teams will be practicing in preparation, and it's going to be a fabulous environment at YU. And I think that's about it for this is our 10th episode. We'll probably maybe do one more after the championship. We'll bring in a player of the game from that. If it's Joe Aaron, he'll have the hat trick of player of the weeks. But we have to think Holy Schnitzel, got to get a bagel, Camp Seneca Lake, DRS, TABC. It's going to be a fabulous environment. Congrats to those two schools. We're looking forward to just being witnesses to see the game played in front of us. And we wish everyone luck. For Ari Wickus. No, not for Ari Wickus. I'm Ari Wickus. Poor Oren Glickman. Yeshiva League Pass podcast, episode 10 is in the book. Yeah.